Hi, my name is Baron Karabeolu, and I will be looking at the different approaches to global climate change by Canadian and US policymakers. Climate change is a global issue and one of the defining challenges of the 21st century. It is also an issue that defines an important area of Canada US relations. The populations of both these countries are among the highest greenhouse gas or GHG producers in the world. This has put both countries at pivotal positions in international climate change discourses. The impacts of Canadian and US climate policies affect both the countries. They are heavily dependent on energy production and are equally vulnerable to changes in the landscape. Economically, many transnational companies stand to be affected by climate change related policy changes. Canada has typically sought policies compatible with those of the US, with the understanding that there could be significant benefits in harmonizing aspects of GHG and other pollution control strategies in order to facilitate trade and make compliance easier for transnational businesses. By looking at both the international and local actions taken by the US and Canadian governments, their respective perspectives on the issue of climate change can be observed. This is a tweet from the Embassy of Canada to the United States. Quote, Canadians and Americans breathe the same air, drink the same water, and share the same responsibility to ensure that future generations have a safe, clean, and healthy continent. This is an example of Canada's willingness to pursue a continentalist approach to the issue. Canada, through its many actions, argues for the cooperation of not only the international community, but its southern neighbor in tackling climate change issues. In the next few slides, examples of the history of Canadian initiatives and involvement will convey its relatively higher levels of willingness to tackle climate change issues in comparison to the United States. At the Earth Summit of 1992, the UN Framework Convention on Climate Change, or the UNFCCC, was presented, which stated that Canada could be a leader in achieving the commitments of the convention by reducing greenhouse gas emissions. The US was also a co-signer in that treaty. In 2002, the Kyoto Protocol was designed as an extension of the UNFCCC. Canada was to reduce GHG emissions by 6% between 2008 and 2012, however, withdrew from Kyoto in 2011, stating that it was pointless to be a part of an agreement that the two biggest emitters of the greenhouse gases, the US and China, were not a part of. In 2015, the Paris Agreement. In this agreement, Canada invested $2.65 billion to help developing countries battle climate change, limiting global temperature increases and striving for a carbon-free world before 2100. The US had originally signed the treaty, but the Trump administration withdrew the US in 2016. The US is likely to rejoin the treaty with Biden in power. In a statement made by Trudeau, he discusses the regressive nature of the withdrawal of the US from the Paris Agreement. It is evident that the Canadian officials are pursuing a green economic future, but the degree of US cooperation with Canada in that economic shift has become uncertain. This statement is a response to the United States' decision to withdraw from the Paris Agreement in 2017. Arguably, the recent regressions in climate change policies in the US are a result of climate change denial. According to a study from 2011, conservative white males are the main driving force behind climate change denial. Conservatism oftentimes seeks to protect and maintain the current status quo, in this case fighting against the economic shift towards renewable energy. It is therefore understandable that the Trump administration has acted against this economic shift, given its conservative voter base. Alongside the major Paris Agreement withdrawal under Trump, the administration rolled back many laws that regulated businesses. The NAFTA renegotiations and a general lack of cooperative behavior from the Trump administration was an evidence of lack of settlement between the two countries on the topic of climate change. This has led to Canada's isolation in terms of leading climate talks, Moving forward, it is likely that the US won't be able to recover from Trump's environmental setbacks in a single presidential term, and will likely need another term to be able to assist Canada in leading the efforts against climate change.